All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
There ain't no rules.
There is no plan.
No safety net.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
The Three Noes Podcast.
Oh, pitter patter, let's get at her.
My finger got stuck.
Yeah. Welcome to the Three Noes Podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Jason.
How's it going, Ryan?
I'm doing good. Apparently you have his other phone.
I do. Because we were just talking about...
I've been robbed. Look.
Oh, no.
That's why my finger got stuck. It didn't properly pop.
Here. I got you.
You got
Use
implements. You got implements.
Yeah. That'll. Hey.
There we go. Thank you, sir.
The proper tool for the proper job. There you go. Better?
Much better.
Okay. No, we just before we hit record here, just started talking about online radio because we've had some things pop up about.
We used to listen to music.
We used to listen to music, and we would review songs, and talk about it. And I guess Spotify.
Whoa. What does everybody want?
No, we're fine. But no, we were like, hey, you can't play music, and we're like, hey, we're just reviewing. We're not trying to cash in on
Not doing anything different that I don't see 100 times.
Exactly. But that got me to thinking about online radio stations and stuff like that, and what goes into that aspect. So I did a little research, and I came across the information for Canada. Anyways, I cannot speak for the rest of the world. There's a place called Ascom or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it calculates they ask you how much of your show would music be part of? Mm-hmm. For us, it was a minuscule amount.
You're talking 15 minutes out of an hour and a half at least program.
Right. So the minimum that they're looking at is 25% of a show is music.
And I'm saying 15 minutes was generous.
Yeah. So with the calculations that they had with tax, shockingly, really? Surprised?
Wow.
Not really, shouldn't be. It came out to $34 a month.
Which doesn't sound too bad.
No, to be able to play music on the show, and not that we're doing that,
right?
But it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, if we did do that, how much would it cost? Mm-hmm. And it came to $34, and I was like, that's nothing.
Yeah.
So if
we wanted to
go in that direction, yeah,
and avoid possible
problems with shows getting taken down, because that's what they're talking about with the emails that I was getting. Because of this, you need to resolve this, and if you don't resolve this within 72 hours, we'll remove the show from your list. Uh-huh. And we're like, fine. Okay. we're not making money off of those songs. No. We were never trying to make money off of those songs.
We're not making any money off this.
Well, no, yeah. Yes. in the grand scheme of things, it's costing us money to do this show.
Pretty much.
So,
yes.
It was just one of those things where I fell down a rabbit hole. And it's
as you do often.
Well, they said I was listening to an online radio show, like I said, and then I'm just like, what goes into this? And again, rabbit holes and me and nothing but time on my hands. And
okay, that brings up a different question. What about these online Twitch DJs?
They have to have licensing.
They do have licensing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a couple. Well, there's one out of Tasmania, of all places, that I listen to. And he has a very specific licensing agreement that he had to do. He can't take requests.
Okay.
If you go to his stream and they have the chat, it's please play me something from Metallica. And he'll say, no, I cannot take requests online.
Okay.
Or on air. You have to go to his Discord.
Okay.
And try and request a song through that. So whatever the licensing is for a Twitch streamer versus a podcaster, I think it's different, but I don't know the details.
In countries, definitely.
In countries, yeah.
Distribution rights are different everywhere.
And then there's another guy that I listen to on Twitch. He has licensing as well, and he will he'll run a game like either marbles or duck race or something like that. If you win, you get to request a song, and he is if you win, you can request a song if he can play it. So there's restrictions as well. Okay. He's an American Twitch
so he's got a semi-limited playlist.
Right.
Okay.
So what these lists are is anybody's guess.
Yeah.
Because I've yet to see where somebody would request a song, he's like, I can't play that. I haven't seen that one yet.
I know, like I've briefly delved into like looking to screen movies. And, you know, you can go to certain websites and they only have certain companies' films available. You know, like the Criterion Collection is all under one banner kind of thing, that kind of stuff. So I would assume music would be kind of in the same boat.
Is it? I wonder if it's like label dependent.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's got to be something like that.
Yeah.
I know that's what you get into with a lot of like TV and streaming and all that stuff.
Yep.
I applied years ago before the shipping job, or early into my shipping job. They had a position available briefly at work for TV rights management.
Oh,
it was helping to organize as they were expanding the tech savvy TV.
That would be cool.
So, and I did apply, but I didn't have some of the experience that they were needing. So
you watch TV all the time. How much more experience
exactly?
do you
That
need?
was my argument. I watch a lot of it. All the streamings, all that stuff.
Yeah.
At the time, yes, but no, I didn't have like the actual clerical experience, like Excel experience and stuff like that. So, but in talking with the guy who runs that department, you know, it was like I was surprised to hear about certain things when it came to digital rights and all that. That's why, you know, you see a lot of stuff that is available on HBO, but you have to go through Crave here kind of thing. And, you know, a lot of Crave doesn't exist in the U.S., so they license it out to Hulu. And, you know, it's back and forth like that. That's where it gets really weird and confusing sometimes.
Digital rights.
And now I see stuff like network shows like that show The Rookie.
Okay.
That I've watched all of it, and it's available on 3 different streaming services right now.
I suppose if you lease the rights,
but
anybody can.
It's on Crave.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's on Disney Plus.
Sure. Huh? Sure. Why not? Like, no, if they ponied up the cash to have these episodes,
like that's got to be like an NBC or a CBS or something.
Sure.
ABC I can understand for Disney because that's the parent company kind of thing. But
who owns Netflix?
Netflix is Netflix.
Oh, Netflix is Netflix.
Netflix is still its own entity at this time.
Yeah.
Until
Hulu is
Hulu, I believe, is a part of Disney now.
Okay.
It was on its own. I think it merged with. I think it joined Disney a couple years ago.
To the Google machine.
That stuff gets confusing because Paramount was its own thing for a while, and then Paramount Plus became a part of Prime, and
Paramount Plus became part. Oh yeah,
it's an add-on channel to Prime. They don't have their own thing anymore.
Yeah, because
for a while.
I remember they said pulling up Prime, and they're like, "Watch Yellowstone." I went, "Say what now?"
Yeah, because Paramount Plus became a part of Prime.
Well, he said when I went to watch the Yellowstone episodes, it directed me instantly to Paramount Plus. So it was like, okay.
Yeah, that's the one add-on channel on Prime that Tally has to keep. My dad keeps randomly adding shit because he doesn't realize it. He doesn't realize that it adds to the bill when he hits on certain things.
Why is my credit card $1,000
every month? Tally's checking in with me and my dad, and it's always my dad. Did you add this one? Dad's like, "Oh, I watched that one show."
There it is. History of Hulu. Oh, Hulu was launched in October of 2007.
Wow, it was around that long.
I I thought it was a relatively new.
I think I first heard of it in the COVID era.
Yeah?
Just before COVID, maybe.
As a joint venture between several media companies. These included NBC Universal, then owned by General Electric, News Corporation, owner of Fox, and then later the Walt Disney Company. The goal was to create an online hub for recent TV shows and films, and quickly, it's so glaring. It's like the pure white background with like grayish letters. And quickly gained traction thanks to the ability to offer popular shows soon after they aired on television. Over the years, ownership shifted as companies sold stakes and or merged. 2010, Disney and News Corp each held significant shares, and Comcast, which was acquired by NBC Universal, joined them. Hulu was launched as a subscription tier, Hulu Plus, to complement its free ad-supported version. 2019, Disney emerged as the dominant force behind Hulu following key acquisitions. Walt Disney Corporation currently owns Hulu outright. Just Walt Disney. After 2019 acquisitions of 20th Century Fox, which previously held 30% stake in Hulu. So as soon as Disney buys Fox, it rolls their 30% into the majority shareholder. The deal gave Disney a controlling interest. It already had 30%. So when Fox gives them their 30%, now 60% is owned. And then Comcast, an agreement with Comcast to take full operation control of Hulu. So 2019, it all became Disney.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's it.
And I'm not surprised, and you expect to see more of those services merge. Eventually.
Well, Disney just sucks up broadcasting corporations, just like.
The one that has surprised me, and it also pisses me off because we can't get it up here, is Peacock, the NBC streaming service.
They don't have a Canadian version.
They do not have it available in Canada. So to watch NBC stuff, unless it's simulcast also on CTV or Global in Canada, you can't see that stuff. Now, a lot of it is on CTV and Global.
Could you use a VPN to circumvent that
possibly,
nonsense?
But I haven't had the best of luck with that when it comes to the TV itself.
Is Peacock a pay service?
Yes, it's their own streaming service. It's the NBC branded
so you might have issues with it anyways.
Right. Yes. Because there's a lot of old NBC stuff that was hard to find. I've been starting to find it more now. Yeah. But like original Night Court. Yeah. That was one of my favorites.
Well, so good.
Yeah, I did get to watch the first season about 2 years ago, and God damn, it was good. Even I think it was the third episode. It's a big episode between Bull and Selma, the original bailiff.
Yeah,
it'll punch you right in the heart.
Yeah, it did that. Yeah. So, like I said, it busted out some of those emotional beats every once in a while.
And then Dan would come along and say something extremely sexually inappropriate. And he got multiple Emmys for that shit.
Yeah. It was the 80s.
It was the 80s.
So it was all good.
I can remember one of my best friends growing up. His name was JB. He lived right around the corner from my house. Like I hop a fence, I'm in his yard kind of thing. And I'd go over there after school so much. And Night Court was in syndication at that point at like 4 p.m. And we ended up watching it with his parents.
Nice.
And at the time, apparently, I had a really good kind of Dan Fielding impression.
Really?
In at least one episode, he would say like "Ciao, Bella," when he's leaving. So that's what I would say to Mama King. It just made her chuckle every time.
Well, there you go. Make the mom laugh. You get free food.
Yep.
But no, like the idea of an online radio station it is still kind of playing around in my head, kind of thing. Like
you've got time, so you're trying to find things that will hold you enough to fill some of that time.
Yeah. So looking at where did I ask like AI, like how do I do this? And AI just like shoots out a list, like start here, do this, like it's like an incremental thing on how to do it. I was like, oh, okay. And when you do it like that, it doesn't look as daunting as like, I have an idea and I don't know how to implement this idea. So you get the smart toys to start mucking around with the internet. So it's one of those, like I came across, it's called Slack Radio.
Slack Radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a Church of the Subgenius version kind of thing where they have, it is an actual, they simulcast it on an actual radio station, I think, like a college or university.
Okay. But
their schedule also has the original, the Church of the Subgenius Hour of Slack show.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I think 1 or 2 hours a day they have blocked off to play from, like, the first episode.
Okay.
And it keeps going. So they did, I think there was just over 2,000 episods of Church of the Hour of Slack show.
When was that? When did that?
That started in 85 or 89.
Okay. Wow.
So it's been around for a long time, and like the whole thing started in I think 1979 is when the church, the idea between
when Dobbs first started.
When Ivan Stang and Philo Drummond got together and created the Church of the Subgenius idea. So when
I'd never heard of it until you first mentioned it like a few years back when you first got your certificate.
Yeah.
First time I'd ever even heard of the concept. So to hear that it's been around that long is kind of surprising, that I'd never heard of it any time in between.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one of those things where if it's like, how do people not know about certain things? You know, like but when you're in different worlds and different parts of the world, different societies and whatnot, different things hit your radar.
Well, with this, it hit right around the same time of Discordianism. Another,
never heard of that.
Yeah, so there was two guys started Discordianism roughly the same time the Church of the Subgenius started, and they're in the same kind of satirical pool, but they're in different ends.
Okay.
Whereas the Discordians are more philosophical, educational bend. The church is very performative. So you have the whole idea of the Church of the Subgenius was taken from roadside revivals and radio preachers and stuff like this. Okay. So when Stang and Drummond got a hold of it, they're going like, we have an idea. So they're taking that aspect of religion and like the cult kind of mind of it and bringing it over here with they say it's not tongue in cheek. The whole part of their shtick is it's a real religion. Mm-hmm. It's not a joke. It's not satirical. That's the part of the joke of it all.
Right.
When it has the reality built into it.
It's the perfect fit for people who don't want to give it any energy, don't really give a shit about actual religion.
No.
It's the perfect fit for it. And there's that I want to. It was a concept that the show American Gods. The one thought that came to my mind watching it is about what is a god, what makes a god, and how where did the new gods come from? Like the god of me, because people believe in it.
Yes.
It's all a matter. If you get enough people to believe in something, it becomes a real thing.
Yeah.
So the Church of Subgenius might have been initially just satire and whatnot. You get enough people behind it, no, it's an actual thing. Because
1985 was the very first Church of the Hour of Slack show.
Okay.
So
does it say where they
the very first show was out of Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so it started down in the south.
Yes.
Okay.
So, like, Ivan Stang is a Texan. So they would be driving around all over the place, and they're listening to the radio preachers doing the revival, the tent revivals and stuff like this. So the Subgenius has taken this part of it, and when they do a thing, they call it a devival.
A devival.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It really
is.
It really is.
And like their whole sales pitch is eternal salvation or triple your money back.
Yeah. I know. I'm signing up. I'm just waiting for my next paycheck because I get some
you don't get a better deal than that.
I know.
That is the greatest deal in salvation.
You already sold me. Yeah. I'm just waiting for my next paycheck.
Subgenius.com. That's where I think it's now, I think it's $45.
Okay.
Your soul is now worth $45 or $135.
Yep.
If
that's a deal.
It is a fucking deal, isn't it?
You can't pass
How can you turn it down?
You can't.
You can't. But it's really what you make of it, the performative part of it, and the sermons and the rants. I've sent you a couple.
Yep.
They're older. Like some of the things are like 14, 15, 16 years old. That's how old this stuff is. They had a thing called X-Day drills. Because as we know, the Exists will come and destroy the world on July 5th, 1998 at 7 a.m.
Okay.
The conspiracy has us believe that it's 2015 because they are messing with us.
Right.
It's obviously it's a lie because we're still here because it's not 1998, July 5th. July 5th, 1998 is going to happen this year.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay.
7 a.m.
Right.
July 5th, go outside, look up, look for the saucers, the pleasure saucers. They'll rupture up all dues paid members of the church.
Hey Siri, remind me to check outside for flying saucers on July 5th at 7 a.m. What?
See, the conspiracy controls your phone.
You're right. Siri refuses to give me a reminder about it.
Right. That's the conspiracy.
God damn it.
Yeah. That's how insidious the conspiracy
The
is.
ghost of Steve Jobs is in on it. God damn it. God, no, damn.
When July 5th, 1998 happens, there won't be a need for any more phones. So how can Apple sell you a new phone?
That is not a bad thing.
No?
We'll get to that because I got shit I need to talk about.
Okay.
We will get to that.
But with July 5th, 1998 right around the corner, all the phones are going to be gone. You're going to be teleported up to the pleasure saucers of Planet X. The Exists lay waste to the Pink Boys and the conspiracy here. And we are whisked off to Planet X to live out the rest of our life in pure slack.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
I'll take it.
Some geniuses deserve slack.
Yeah, well.
And the Exists...
I got to hurry up and get my memory.
Yeah, because J.R. Bob Dobbs, the greatest salesman on the planet, the living slack master himself, has cut a deal with the Exists to save all the subgeniuses.
All right. I got to get my ticket.
Yes, you do.
I do.
You have to get your kit.
Yep.
And I said you get 2 documents, 2 frameable documents. You've seen mine.
Yep.
That gives you the right to be either a reverend or whatever you wish to name yourself. And it has built-in excuses.
I think I'm going to go a little bit old school. I think I want the title of Grand Poobah.
Grand Poobah?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
I feel like it fits me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so when you get it, the show might take a very serious turn too.
We shall see.
lots of room to play with.
Okay.
So I said I've been writing sermons.
Typing? Using the typewriter?
No. Instead, I've been coordinating with an AI about like I would feed prompts, and then it's I'm using a conspiracy against itself.
Okay.
So like that one post I put up today, like do yourself psyops. One of the tenets of the church: pull the wool over your own eyes. And it said you'll pay to know what you already know. So
yeah, I'm still trying to grasp certain aspects of it, but it'll come.
Yeah,
it'll come.
All you need to know: subgeniuses need slack.
I don't think I have a shortage of that.
That's what you think. You might have false slack.
That's
the conspiracy feeds false slack into subgeniuses to lull them into complacency.
That could be.
Yeah. So true slack, you'll know true slack when you feel it.
Okay.
I said you get true slack when you sit there and you watch old Bugs Bunny cartoons when you should be mowing the lawn, doing something else.
Okay, then I have reached true slack multiple times.
Yeah.
All right. I have already.
So
that's part of the problem.
But that is your Yeti DNA is starting to come out. You're rediscovering the proper Yeti DNA. That's where
you're telling me that I should not have quit weed because that brought it out. That brought it out even more.
There was control issues with that.
That's true.
So
but the Saturday morning cartoon thing, I did that for a few months. Where Saturday mornings I was watching cartoons.
Yeah, no, the weed thing was detrimental to you. That was the false slack.
That's if you don't mind, I'd like to segue a little bit since I'm doing it now. 221 days today.
Nice, well done.
And it has gotten easier because I haven't really thought about it. I haven't really been craving it a whole lot. It's still there, like I do once in a while. But at our meeting this week, did the share talking, how good I feel and everything. But before I spoke, another gentleman did, and he's like, I think it was 8 years. He's been he was 8 years. He's 8 years sober, and he's talking, and he's like. He's done or been working all the actual steps and all that stuff, and he mentioned that but he has a different problem because he's still not taking responsibility for and managing his life, which is one of the steps is managing your life, because he was supposed to be painting a bedroom, he's on his phone. He's on his computer. He's doing that shit. So it's that stuff has become an even bigger addiction, and that's true. And I'm in my head, because we don't speak when other people are speaking, But in my head, I'm like, my God, yes, brother, preach.
Just jump up, yes, preach, brother.
I mentioned when I spoke, I said just like you said, and another guy even said the same thing, like. We're all feeling this. We've become addicted to this shit. Yeah. Whether it's subliminal, whether it's just because we're getting the dopamine hits and all that
exactly
shit.
Exactly it.
But I already knew that. I've known that for years.
Yep.
I know I've told the story before, but when I took my college course at St. Clair, one of my classes was a media and communications class. We had a project. I was the only one in the class to actually try to do it proper. A 7-day media fast. No internet, no phone, no TV, no radio, nothing media. I tried to read books. I made it 2 days.
That's better than most.
I made it 2 days, and I journaled my days for that week, and it was worse or as bad as any serious drug addiction. I was irritable. I was shaky. I was it was bad, and that was just not touching my phone for 2 days.
We are not designed to have these devices in our faces as often for as long as we do.
I know.
We're just not genetically designed for that.
I know, and it makes me angry that I can't. And like, okay, I've got the willpower to stop weed, but I can't stop my phone. The best I can accomplish right now, I had this discussion with Crystal earlier, is I'm able to stay off my phone when I'm watching a movie with someone. When I'm having a shared experience with someone, then I can stay off my phone. But if I'm watching a movie alone, and if the movie isn't holding me, I'm on my phone. Mm-hmm. I'm splitting my attention. Yeah, and it's frustrating.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I feel the same way.
And like I know we almost need a support group for that. But
how do you approach it? You would have to approach it the same way like Alcoholics Anonymous or any addiction. That's what it is. You have to treat it as an actual addiction.
Crystal mentioned a couple weeks ago about buying one of those cages that you lock your phone in, and doing that for a few hours every day.
Yeah,
I think we need to, and get a safe that has a time lock.
or find something else to do.
But that's not the problem. I can find things to do. It's will they hold me long enough to not touch this fucking thing?
What I do. There's been many times. Okay, I'm speaking for myself here. Dealing with this fucking addiction, there's been many times where I've left my phone and my iPad in another room, and I've gone outside and I've read books. So much so to the fact that I come in, I've missed messages from 3 different people, you, Mags, and my brother, or something like that. Like one of the ones yesterday, as a matter of fact, I'm out reading. Mags like, hey, me and the dog are going to the pet store to get some food. You coming? And I'm looking at it like, oh, that was 45 minutes ago. and she's gone and back. I replied, no, I think I'm going to stay. But that's also another thing. I'm still here. She knows I'm here. Just outside.
Right.
She texted me.
Yep.
So instead of trying to figure out where I'm in one of 2 places, really.
Right.
So come talk to me.
Even if you left, you would have told her you were leaving.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, okay, you asked me a question. You did not get a timely response. So if you really need to know the answer, you come find me.
Obviously it wasn't that important.
No. But that's the thing. Like, to me, being able to physically leave a device in another room for X amount of time and do something else is a big step for me. Like, I'm looking at a couple camping trips coming up soon, and I was like, what do I do with this? What do I do with my phone?
You don't want to be totally without it, but I would say leave it in your car.
That's the thing. Now, with the camping trips that I'm planning, they're festivals. So I'm going to have my hearing aids in to hear anything.
Right.
And the controls of the hearing aids are on my phone.
You've bitten yourself there.
Yeah. I don't know.
You've shackled yourself.
I have shackled myself if I wanted to hear and be social. Mm-hmm. So damned if I do, damned if I don't.
Yep.
Now I just got to figure out, because last year I went to a thing. and they had a bunch of discussions. I didn't hear a fucking word.
I remember. You remember telling me that.
So frustrated. And I was scared to bring my hearing aids camping. I had $12,000 worth of hearing aids.
Jeez.
And I'm just like, do I want to bring these out to the fucking woods? Mm-hmm. Like, if I lose one, or if I get wet, or what? If I leave them in the tent and it rains, what do I what if'd myself into a shitty weekend.
Right.
So I'm either going to have to fucking, hey, well, you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup, and make it happen, or suffer the consequences.
See, when I what if myself when I'm prepping for a trip or something like that, I tend to just over prepare. Mm-hmm. Bring stuff that we don't even end up not touching or anything like that, you know. But it's better to have it than not.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. What's the saying? Better to have and not need, and need and not have.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Like I said, before you came over, I was going through my camping stuff, checking off stuff that I had, and see what I did. I did the exact same thing. I overpacked, like viciously overpacked on one of the trips. I'm just like, I don't need half of the stuff that I brought. So now it's a matter of paring stuff down. Yeah. But that's the way to go.
As long as you're cognitive of it, you know, that is the right word, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's talking about ditching the phones and the iPad and stuff like that. There's been times where I'm like, yes, I need to get up out of bed and start my day. 3 hours later, I'm still rotting away, doom scrolling in bed. I was like, oh, yeah. So much for that fucking plan. So
Crystal has those on the weekends.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of her time sometimes. And that's her. She's okay with that right now.
It's not, though.
I know.
So it's not good for anybody. So,
you know, this morning, because I woke up a little earlier than I thought, because I've been sleeping in better. I've been sleeping pretty good lately. But I got up and I went and started watching our homework movie. And
yeah,
I'm probably an hour into it, and she got up, and she actually came and laid on the couch with me. Now she ended up nodding off; she was not watching it.
Oh no!
But she came and I was out with me. She wasn't on her phone. She came and sat with me.
There you go.
So,
and then I started texting you.
Yeah. But then we got the movie done. And we went for breakfast. So.
I had to take a break. It was like half hour left in that movie, and Mags goes, I'm gonna go take the dog for a drive and get a coffee. You come understand? It's like, fuck, I'm going. I need to fucking get away from this fucking thing. Ew.
Yep, it's another slog movie.
I looked at it, it's an hour and 46 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, this is time I can't get back.
It was as boring as I remember from the first time I watched it way back when.
This was my first time watching this.
I watched it one other time.
Yeah. So
just before COVID, I watched it.
Yeah, I'd heard of it, but I've never. Everybody's seen the picture.
Yes,
the picture is fucking iconic.
Yes. Sean Connery in red trunks with red bandoliers, just looking sexy as fuck.
Fucking knee-high go-go boots,
holding a revolver.
Don't get it.
It's the only picture card in Cards Against Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
It was included in their sci-fi bonus pack.
That's all you need, man. That's all you need. Like looking at it, I was like, how do you wash off the successful stink of James Bond? I know. So
that is the movie he did after Diamonds Are Forever. And he got paid $200,000 for it.
Here's a fucking career trajectory.
Yeah, what did he do afterwards?
I hope he suffered greatly.
I think he went back to James Bond after.
I would have hoped so. Like, oh, I didn't like that pool.
Oh, I read the trivia on that. there's one particular block of trivia. We're talking too much about it on the show, but
I'm just saying
there's one block of trivia that will explain a lot of that.
Okay, the less I know about this movie, the better off my life is going to be. In my opinion.
In case people it's called Zardoz. Okay, it's from 1974.
Yeah.
1974. Zardoz. It's a
sci-fi, air quote.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not an easy watch.
Fuck no.
But what we do for content.
Oh, Dave.
You texted me. Why do we do this to ourselves? Glutton for punishments, and Dave asked us to. Because we're both.
I quit a podcast to stop watching bad movies.
Well, that was just movies in general.
Yes.
You were off movies in general at the time.
Yeah. But now, back in.
Yep.
With bad movies.
Just when you thought you were out. Oh, yeah, back in.
Oh, God.
That's another addiction. We're both addicted to podcasting.
We are.
We enjoy this.
Like I said, like, if I'm not. I get itchy when we miss.
I know.
And on my phone, this again, I have like the Apple Podcast app,
right?
Just fucking loaded with other people's shows I listen to. I go for drives up and down the highway, just listening to podcasts.
I don't go that far.
I do.
I don't listen to podcasts anymore. I fell off of it. And I don't, honestly, there's no reason for it. I would be better filling my time with doing that and something else, like, but.
Well, I got into the habit of listening to shows when I was working. Mm-hmm. So I could shut my brain off, like focus on a podcast. My body could do the work. Autopilot. So I could like turn on a Joe Rogan, like a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast and burn through it. No problem. That's what I did for the last 13 years at my work. And when I left that, I was like, oh, this is a culture shock.
Yep.
So I'm still dealing with the need.
That's the retirement thing. Your entire cycle.
Yes.
Your entire cycle has changed dramatically, and I'm sure it's a long adjustment.
Oh, it's not easy. Yeah. So I appreciate the time that I have. I just don't know what to do with most of it because I don't have structure. I don't have a purpose, really. Realistically, I don't have a purpose. My purpose when I was working there, make money for the house, for the family. Now they just like, here you go, here's your pension. Thanks. Now what do I do? Like, well, you figure it out.
You buy swords.
Buy swords. Yeah, that's another problem.
That was another guy at the meeting last night mentioned that was his latest addiction is causing some friction home because he's online shopping, he's Foot Locker and whatnot as he's wearing brand new Nikes.
Yeah, so that's the problem right there. Listen, I've got this money. I have access to credit cards in the internet, and fucking Amazon is like, hey, you know what?
I stay away from that shit now.
They keep sending me emails like, hey, we found some stuff that you might be interested in.
I ignore those emails.
I open them up.
I don't.
I'm just like, ooh.
I do not. I instantly delete them.
Bezos needs a new rocket ship. I need a new fucking air mattress.
Yeah, that's just the way we are right now.
It is. It's the sad reality of it all. Is just, what do you do?
What do we do? We try to step out of reality with whatever means we can, whatever escapism, the movies, the podcasts, the RPGs, all that stuff.
Yeah, reality sucks. You can't really change anything about it. You can try to deny it as best you can. You kind of like the escapism is a massive thing about it.
I've done this over multiple times over the years, but this past week it became a focus. It took some struggling getting it figured out and whatnot, but I have taken a time warp back. I have gotten a Commodore 64 emulator program.
Ooh, nice.
And now this particular program has 3,500 plus Commodore 64 games.
Holy cow.
I recognize maybe about 50 titles to 100 titles in that list, but this program it's laid out so nice. It's got 3D box art and everything.
Nice.
But I primarily wanted it for one set of games. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, starting with Pool of Radiance. So that's the last couple of days I started playing that again.
All comes back to D&D.
Oh yeah.
Always D&D.
That was to be honest, that game would have been my first introduction to Dungeons and Dragons, I think. Pretty close to it. I might have played Redbox a year or two prior to that game, because I think it came out in 87, and I think I started messing around with the Redbox with Donnie and Dave in like 85-ish. But the AD&D Pool of Radiance is the first in a trilogy that was put out for Commodore 64. And yeah, it's a low rent DOS based program.
Yeah.
But it's so nostalgic.
Well, that's how we did it. It's Gen Xers, as a...
It uses THACO, man.
It does.
Trying to figure out the armor class stuff in particular, because I've gotten bracers, and they're bracers AC6 and bracers AC4, and I don't know what that means.
Got it. The lower end.
Right. But how was it affecting my, like, who do I put it on? Like,
Yeah.
I was trying to use an online guide, how to best, min-max things, which this game does allow you to cheat. When you make your characters at first, when they're first level characters, before you start playing, you can actually, not even before you start playing, while they're level 1, you can modify them so you can jack their stats up to perfect, as high as they can go. So I have like 3 elves that are 18/75 strength.
Oh shit!
You can totally fudge the game that way.
Heck yeah!
But yeah, I'm.
Well, let's say that. There's that old saying: you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Exactly.
So,
but my goal is to finish this game, because I've played Pool of Radiance multiple times and I have finished it multiple times, but I've never gone on to the sequels. And you're supposed to be able to carry your characters over.
Oh, okay.
So the second one is called Curse of the Azure Bonds.
Okay.
And I remember touching it briefly way back when in the original days, but never got too far with it. I want to go through the whole trilogy. And then I'll look at the other ones, because they also did like a Dragonlance series.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yes. I can't remember the names on those ones, but there's 3 in that series. So, yeah.
I didn't realize the Dragonlance was...
Yep.
Huh. Okay.
Well, at least it looks like Dragonlance. It's there. There's something about heroes, dragons, and something I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's Dragonlance based. Don't know when those ones came out. They might have came out in the early 90s. So, and I know the Dragonlance novels were around at that point. Quite sure.
What are the Dragonlance Commodore 64 games?
Let's check the algorithm. Surveys. Oh.
Advanced Dungeons Dragonlance, Heroes of the Lance, War of the Lance.
That's the books, isn't it?
Yeah. Commodore 64 RPG 3D Adventure, 1998.
Wow, that late.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
War of the Lance was a turn-based strategy game developed by Strategic Simulations Incorporated in 1998.
Wow.
So War of the Lance is a thing.
Okay.
Dragon's Lair, directly related to the Dragonlance system, is available for Commodore 64. Dragon Strike is also available for the Commodore 64. And the Dragon Strike game is not considered part of the Dragonlance series.
Oh, okay. I thought they were, just because of the dragon thing in there.
Dragon's Lair is not directly related to the Dragonlance series as well.
Well, yeah, no, Dragon's Lair, I'm pretty sure, is the animated. Remember the arcade game?
Yeah. But I don't think
they made a Commodore 64 version that had low graphics, but pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, I'm going to get into those. Maybe eventually I might consider games that I was afraid of back in the day.
Afraid.
The Bard's Tale.
Oh.
Another big RPG.
Yeah.
And Ultima.
Ooh, that's a
massive one.
That is a huge step.
That was a massive one.
I remember my cousin had the Ultima, and it had a cardboard wheel.
The Pool of Radiance had that too.
Yeah.
They had the cardboard where you had to match the elven symbols
Yep.
in order for the game to open,
Yeah.
the game to load.
Yep.
You had to put that in. They bypassed that with the emulator.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just hit enter and it goes past that now.
No, good.
I think I
Good.
still have my wheel somewhere though.
Oh, shit.
I think I still have the manual and the wheel.
You be sitting on a mint, and there's a nerd somewhere going like, I need the real thing. So,
Maybe. I don't think I have the game. I just have that.
oh, they can figure that out for themselves.
Emulators.
No,
That's what's got my attention.
yeah, gaming for me. I said, so when I hooked up this PS4, I said I just downloaded War Thunder and I played that a couple times, just like, but the wrapping up Brent's vampire game. Now we got 3 months of downtime,
That's what he said. Yeah.
and like he asked me like, "What do you want to do?" And flippantly, I said I'm going to go on a European vacation and discover myself.
He believes you.
He absolutely believed me, and I'm just like, well, shit, okay. I worked myself into a shoot.
There you go.
So I'm just like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do now. So like I said, Brent took it at face value. I did it to myself.
You did.
So I'm on backpacking across Europe.
Jeez. My character's easy. He's got books to read. He's just a researcher.
Well, I said, yeah. You said your book could kill you at the slightest provocation.
I am being very careful not for that to happen. But my character's sole goal is to find the quote unquote next evolution.
Yeah.
So if that means something, if I have to delve into demon packs and shit, then maybe.
Yeah.
That's what my character's motivation is.
You have quite a quest in front of you when it comes to that. So
I did that on purpose because it's broad. What does that mean, right? I don't have a specific line of focus. I'm just anything that could see me evolve to greater power. That's what I'm looking
yeah, and you can't lean into the mage aspect of Trumere anymore because that's been zapped out of you.
Right.
So how do you...
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Interesting.
What's the next evolution of a vampire?
Oh, that's the question.
We saw a possibility in the movie Blade 2, if you want to call it that.
Is it an evolution or a de-evolution?
That's That I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But
so
I'm looking to become more
the
powerful.
next thing.
The next thing.
Yeah.
That's why when he started dangling the abomination thing, I'm like, oh, that could get really that could get really dangerous for me.
When he popped that question, when Brent popped that question off at me, I'm just like, no. I don't want any part of this game.
In the White Wolf system, an abomination is a vampire werewolf hybrid, and they are frowned upon on both sides of the field.
It's a failed roll. It's more than a failed roll. It's a botched roll. You become an abomination when you botch, when you really fuck up.
Yep.
So even if you succeed, you explode. You die outright. Like, you should not exist.
Yep. And if you do, you're going to get hunted from both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
unless you're, like, stupidly powerful.
right.
And
that's what he was teasing. I'm like,
yeah, then you become everybody's problem.
Yep.
So,
nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yes. Because when he was like, can they make... Like, no.
Yeah,
no. No, God, no.
He was telling me yesterday. So last weekend I took him for lunch because he's been wanting to hang out for a while. I've been, things gotten away. So I took him for lunch and we were chatting then. So he wanted to pay back the lunch. So he took me for lunch yesterday. Okay. Went to Dog Days.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got pork belly again.
Yay!
I called a half hour in advance.
Nice.
Make sure. So yeah, we're chatting and whatnot. I guess he was reading into like the 5E edition of White Wolf a bit, like what happens in Chicago and stuff. And apparently, Chicago has basically just become like a complete war zone or something. Yeah. And Montreal is not much better. Yeah. Sabat have just expanded beyond reason at this point. Like, okay,
Montreal was bad back in the World of Darkness days.
Yep.
And if it's gotten worse, how much worse could it have gotten? So,
to my mind, does this mean that they're loud and proud, like they're just there? People and the normies know this at this point.
That's got to be the only direction they can take that.
Yep. But then you put out you showed that article yesterday that said they're rebranding again and starting over again. Yeah. So curious to see where they go with it.
They probably looked at the 5E version of it and it's just like, we've gone so far afield of what the original idea was. Like, maybe it's time to go back a little.
Kind of like D&D with the 4th edition.
Yeah. Mistakes were made. Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah,
so
I know nothing about the recent editions of White Wolf at all. So
I got the Vampire and Werewolf and Hunter books because I thought it was just like a direct continuation of the new. No. It's completely different system.
Yeah.
And it was like,
that's what I
don't like it.
Yeah. I always had a problem with the original Hunter the Reckoning system to begin with. So that was already confusing.
Yeah. Like if you took the Hunter the Reckoning at face value, it doesn't really jibe with the.
Well, you had the 3 different power category things, and depending on how many points you had in each one of these 3 things, that would say what your abilities were.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so what? Like what?
Yeah.
It was confusing as hell. We only ever tried playing one honest game of Hunter the Reckoning way back when, and it didn't last long because we really didn't know what the hell we were doing.
I want to bite somebody. Wrong game.
Wrong game.
Son of a bitch.
Yep.
Now that we're on the games, I started running a game.
Yes.
Fist, the Ultra Edition.
Fist.
Freelance.
I can't remember.
I can't even remember my own game. Freelance Infantry Strike Team. That's it. Had session 0 last week.
Yep.
Had everybody make at least 3 characters.
Yes. It actually says in the book that character death is very common.
It is a lethal game.
As we found.
It is very lethal to player characters.
Yep.
As Carter found out the hard way.
Well, he stuck his head out.
Yeah, that was a bad choice. What did you think?
We're still in the training wheel stage, getting a feel for the system. I'm enjoying it. I do like it. I am very cognizant of how fragile we are in the game. Hence why I'm leery myself as to putting myself into an immediate fire range of things.
But is that meta? That's kind of meta.
It is. Yeah, I can see your point there. But my characters, he's not actually like a frontline type of build either.
But
so I'm supposed to be more of a talker. I'm built to be a talker.
Yeah. This first mission is definitely
My primary skills are not going to come into use here outside of the running,
which is handy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be halfway down the building when everybody else.
That's right. Gotta go. Bye. The system itself it feels much faster than
That
5e.
Yes. Well, yeah, because we only have the three, or is it three?
Four stats.
Four stats you have to worry about.
Yeah, and they start at 0.
Yep.
So
you got a +1 or a plus. Some people have a +2 and something.
Yep.
Maybe. Yeah, it's very, very simple that way. I like that aspect because it is so streamed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also leaves a lot open for interpretation.
yes,
A lot of vagueness.
that is purpose built into the system.
Mm-hmm.
So the book is, this is supposed to be like a conversation driven game. Like, it's not me. I put the conflict in front of you guys. It's up to you guys to figure out the vast majority of the game.
It's also because it's kind of military. I don't know enough about proper military.
But that's fine. That's part of it. You were not designed to
Yeah.
be a military guy.
Yeah, I think that's a problem with my mindset. I'm taking it that way.
Yeah.
And we're not that way. Like,
No, that's meta.
again, yeah, it's hard to break that when you
Yeah.
don't know any better, especially with the system.
Play that guy straight. You got to play him straight.
I'm trying to find my lane with him. I think I'm kind of getting there. So,
John's straight up psychopathic.
yep. When I looked at him and told him to suck it up, the fact that all he said was choke yourself.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he was going to punch me or something, right? But stay on mission.
Yep. What did you think of my Easter egg for the 13th floor?
That's why I started laughing.
Yep.
That was a joke just for me.
Yep. Nobody else is going to get it. They played it straight. They played it exactly straight.
Yep. But I started laughing.
You knew exactly what I was doing.
The hidden 13th floor.
It is rocky in that room.
I figured.
Yep.
Carney didn't look at the ID badge.
No, he didn't.
so-
He just pocketed it. So
But as soon as you said there's a door 10 feet in the air, I'm like, fuck. I like that.
yeah, there was a lot of stuff is I'm doing on the fly. I have a very general idea of where I'm taking this game. So I'm reacting to you guys of how we're doing.
I know the serious action. Like we ran across a few of those mercs.
Yeah.
But the serious stuff, we still got to get up to the floors where most of them are.
Yeah.
And that's when things are going to get.
Yeah, that's
probably going to get really messy.
That's coming.
Uh-huh.
That's coming sooner rather than later.
That does not surprise me.
Now, so I'm for our first run at a very new game, a brand new game to everybody. It worked extremely well. I was happy that everybody got a chance to take the spotlight a little bit. Brent was a little distracted because of Saturday night's main event, but that's fine.
That was my only kind of, and I don't want to say a complaint. It's just a concern. Is again a lot of cross chatter.
I try to keep it on mission, so to keep it in the genre.
Yeah. I tried to stay off my phone as much as possible too. I know I get guilty of it too.
Yeah. Well, again, it's an addiction.
Yep.
So we need a hit of serotonin, thank you. So
yep. But I am enjoying it. It's because it is different from anything else.
Carney with his Halligan tool couldn't break into a fucking Dunkin' Donuts to save his life, but he brained that one dude. Well, okay, the one mechanic that I really dig in this is the sudden death mode.
God.
So
for John to hit it twice?
Yeah, that's just like, so yeah, that's the universe saying that, okay, we need to bump up the lethality a little bit.
The fact that one person at the table rolls that and it affects everybody.
Everything.
That's crazy.
Not everybody, everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I like that idea though.
Sure.
It's that it gives a seriousness and an impact to the roles.
Yeah.
Because like some people's like, oh, yeah, I failed, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. No, when you roll Snake Eyes, massive consequences are about to happen.
And it may not necessarily be immediately at you.
No.
Kind of thing.
No.
So I kind of like that aspect because that's just mean it's a karma bomb waiting to go off.
Mm-hmm. That is one of the mechanics that I like. I had never seen a mechanic like that before in a game. Mm-hmm. And when I first read that, I went, whoa, okay, this changes a lot of things. So the mechanic of the game is if a character rolls Snake Eyes, regardless of what it is, the game goes into sudden death mode, which means everybody associated with that scene, on that scene, now takes double damage from anything and everything. Yep. And the double damage continues until there is a death of either a player character or an NPC.
So,
or
the first one that John rolled, that was Carter's demise.
Yes.
Because he took the next shot and then taken 10 damage to the head.
12. Ended up being 12 after bonuses.
Yep. And is the second one, we're still in sudden death mode, are we not? At this point?
No. Carney took out the one guy.
That was under sudden death. Okay.
That was under
that
sudden
came
death.
after. So,
no.
Okay. All right.
No. Carney ended up doing something like another 12 points of damage with that Halligan tool.
That's right. That's why he embedded it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, Carter, he was in a bad way,
yep.
And he put himself in a situation where he's flying up a stairwell, and a dude a couple floors above him hoses him with a MAC-10.
What did I say 2 minutes before that?
Yep.
You're kind of noisy. They're gonna hear you coming.
Yep. Oh, it'll be fine.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. You're fine.
Yep.
No, there was almost a catastrophic failure when Carter's character first got shot, and John had to reach out, and John's character lunges out, grabs Carter's character as he starts falling, and he slams him into the handrail of the stairwell underneath him. In doing so, because the number was a 9. There's a bad effect happens. It's considered a partial success. Mm-hmm. John drops Barbara.
Yep.
His personal weapon chainsaw named Barbara.
Beloved chainsaw.
Yep. Plummets 6 stories straight down. Bam. Yep. Destroyed.
Goodbye, Barbara.
Heartbroken.
Yep. I know.
Heartbroken.
That's what I told him to suck it up.
Yeah. So when you guys found the rendezvous point, that was one of the things is you can replace.
That's where this system, it gives it a bit of a video game type of feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's a neat little aspect. Yeah.
But the thing is, you have only one rendezvous point, and you've used it.
Yep.
So from now on, you have to use everything that you have and or find.
I didn't use anything out of it, though.
You didn't need anything.
Right.
So
unless you're counting what they saw on the screens as the intel fact.
That's the intel aspect of the rendezvous point.
Sure.
So
we at least know generally the numbers and where they're milling around kind of thing. We know that there's some on the roof. We know that they're breaking through the ceiling and the floors to drop cables and stuff. So now, is the thing on the roof the device we're supposed to try and find, or is that just the satellite dish and we need to find the actual device somewhere? That's the other question. We don't even know what the damn thing looks like.
Nope.
We know what our primary goal, our primary target looks like now.
Yep.
And the leader of the Hellcats. The big,
Hellcat division.
The Hulk. The
Hulk. So
Hulk Cat.
Did my attempt at immersion, how did that?
I like the tape recorder thing.
Yeah.
I do. That makes me smile because even when we hit it on, hello, Charlie. Charlie's Angels vibe, which is kind of cool.
So what I ended up, I said, I had that idea, and I found a text-to-voice website.
Sure.
And I played around with one, and it just didn't work for me. So I was like, I need to find something else. So found another one. It worked perfectly. I'm allowed 1,000 characters.
Okay.
So that the message that I gave you guys was just shy of 1,000 characters.
I had all the pertinent details.
Yeah.
Just trying to write them down fast enough. But it didn't say it will explode at the end.
No, it didn't.
So we could have rewound it and played it again.
Yeah.
Damn it. Because I know I was writing as fast as I could, and I missed a couple of things. I think I had floor numbers wrong initially. Mm-hmm. That got corrected. But I think I missed one other detail that was in there. But now I'll remember to listen for that.
It didn't say it was going to self-destruct.
Yep.
So
I'm going to remember that for next time.
Yeah,
Yep.
There you go. So I had a question for you.
I might have an answer for you.
Are you familiar with Annabelle?
The doll?
The doll.
I'm familiar with the Conjuring movies, like The Conjuring, and then the movie that they made, the first one.
Okay, so
and I have seen the live stream of it.
Okay.
But that's the extent of what I know.
Okay. Ed and Lorraine Warren were the people that owned Annabelle. Ed and Lorraine Warren have passed on. There's a new caretaker for Annabelle. Lorraine Warren's vehement warning is, do not open the cabinet that Annabelle is stored in. Do not touch Annabelle. Do not move Annabelle.
Right.
Do you know what they're doing?
Everything. They're
doing a world tour with Annabelle. The first stop was New Orleans.
And now New Orleans doesn't have WrestleMania next year. It's got to be
on top of so they move Annabelle to New Orleans. Somebody opens up the cabinet, it's fucking with Annabelle, doing all this. There was a historic plantation mysteriously burned to the ground.
Holy fuck.
At one point in time, the firefighters put the fire out. They're getting ready to leave. Woof, the fire starts back up and finishes the job.
God.
10 convicted felons, some with murder raps, escaped from a prison in New Orleans.
God.
With aid from somebody inside the prison. Now, on top of it, there is one of the voodoo queens, Madame Laveau. Her house burned down in New Orleans.
Oh, fuck.
Right. So,
the type of person who might be able to help in the situation.
Yeah. Gone. That her residents were like, I think, done. The last time I saw, they were moving Annabelle through the French Quarter. So they're not done with this. So believe it or not, is it a coincidence?
Let's just follow the trail of disaster as they go and see if anybody catches on.
Yeah. So I woke up this morning and I said, I'm invested in these exploits because it's fucking weird.
I definitely want to be tracking this.
The first thing on TikTok is this girl comes up and goes, Annabelle's missing. Somebody is either stolen Annabelle or they've misplaced Annabelle. And I'm just like, that's a fucking horrible idea. Everything about it, that's wrong.
Yep.
Before we came on the air today, that wasn't true. It was somebody got on Wikipedia and changed Wikipedia saying like Annabelle's now missing and nobody knows where Annabelle is.
I get that, there's war in the Middle East and, Ukraine and all that. But Annabelle on the loose, we're all going to fucking die.
Yeah.
Like, that's just it's going to happen.
Yep. So they were talking about when it first came out that Annabelle was air quote missing, and somebody went up and changed the schedule of where Annabelle was supposed to be going. One of the trips was to Chicago, which is a terrible idea. Another one who said Annabelle was supposed to be going to Washington, D.C.
Oh, God.
That turned out, Chicago and Washington turned out to be false.
Okay.
So Annabelle is supposed to be going other places.
All I'm picturing is they have Annabelle in the friggin' military parade that Trump wants to have. She's leading the parade.
She's driving a tank. all of a sudden, the B-2 stealth bombers start dropping fucking bunker busters on fucking the Washington Monument.
It's just fireworks, folks.
There's nothing to see here. But when I saw that this morning, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this is the thing that you didn't want to happen is fucking happening. Like, put the fucking doll back where you fucking got it and leave it alone. But it's it's just like the coincidence, like, of this plantation burning down. These 10 prisoners escaping, the fire at the Voodoo Queen's house, just like this happens, and they're all individually fucking bad.
And they took WrestleMania out of New Orleans. You can't discount that. That
Right.
just randomly happened.
So all hell's breaking loose.
Yep.
Yeah. So they did give New Orleans a meal call for WWE. They said you can have money in the bank.
Sure.
So it's not WrestleMania.
No. Did you hear where they are holding it?
No.
Las Vegas again.
Really?
Yes.
They've announced that they're doing it in
Yes.
Vegas again?
Yes.
Oh.
Because of the metric fuck ton of money they made this year, they think they can do it again.
Hell yeah. It's not like it's not going to draw.
Let's take away, like, WrestleMania is like tours and goes to different places, and there was the potential of it going to the UK, possibly London.
Yeah, well, they'll go to they'll do a tour, a European tour.
Oh yes,
anyway,
but
so.
not WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It
won't draw.
I'm not saying it won't draw. I'm just saying that for them to do that, it's kind of disgusting, but it's best for business, right?
Corporations are designed to do what?
I know, make money,
right? And
whatever.
If they take their show to Las Vegas, where they made a metric fuck ton of money,
yep,
they're like, this worked really well.
Yeah, when your ticket prices are,
thousands of dollars.
Nosebleed was like $1,800 for nosebleed.
Yeah. Well, what was the one? It was after WrestleMania. Somebody had bumped into Randy Orton in a hotel, and she was saying they spent $23,000 on tickets for Mania, and Orton was like, "What?"
Yep.
So
I saw that clip.
Yeah, that was just a brutal.
Well, front row was like $12,000 or something.
Yeah, for night one, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
like I said, nosebleed was $1,800. I saw somebody's post about that. Nosebleed was $1,800 a ticket per night.
You're watching, when you're sitting up there, you're watching the Jumbotrons anyways.
Yep.
The only reason you're going to pay $1,800 is to be part of the mob. Mm-hmm. You're not going to enjoy WrestleMania.
I briefly looked at tickets for Pink, the singer Pink, was touring last year. I briefly looked at tickets because Crystal likes her, and they were $1,800 for front row center in Detroit. And even like that, no, I can't justify that.
No.
But that's front row center. Nosebleed, $1,800.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Where you're going to need like the triple binoculars,
sure,
in order to see anything.
Sure.
No,
well, you're going to watch the Jumbotrons anyways.
No, thank you.
Yeah, and then you're going to be paying a crap ton of money for merch and food and drinks. So your $1,800, you may as well quadruple that then.
Yep.
So
you're minimum $5,000 each. Kind of thing. Yep.
That's just the nature of WWE now. Now that TKO owns it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and again, your main event's going to be Logan Paul versus Mr. Beast.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can not wait to see that one.
I
or wait a minute, I can't wait to not see that one.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Hey, at least I'm still paying attention to it because Logan Paul did not win last night.
There you go. I don't know any of the results. I did see Chelsea Green got her nose broken.
Did you see how?
No, I just saw the fallout.
Zelina Vega went for the worst 619 in history.
Oh no!
And so she spun and didn't quite hit her right, so she knees her in the face. Like she's in the 619 position, like she's already spun around, didn't really get a good hit, so she just knees her in the face. And I'm quite sure that's when she broke her nose.
So you've gone from a move that you fucked up to seriously hurting somebody.
Yep.
You're fired.
Nope.
You're fired.
Nope.
You're fucking dumb.
And this is their
champion.
their U.S. champion,
Yeah.
who gets very little crowd reaction. She's not over.
No.
Like Chelsea gets more cheers, but it's WWE fans. They're stupid. They're booing Julia. Like they're not,
Because she's a heel. Now they made Julia a heel.
They're not giving Julia anything. Is it too new? Is she too new?
They don't know how to take Julia. When Julia came to NXT, they made her a babyface. Julia's a heel. She's a natural heel,
Sure.
or a tweener at best.
Right.
So they took Julia and they try to ram the square peg in the round hole, and they're like, "Well, fuck, she's not over." I was like, "Well, no, because you fundamentally changed her character because you wanted her to fit a mold that you had in your mind, but it didn't fit what everybody knew about Julia."
Yep. It's also the fact that WWE fans don't like wrestlers.
That's true.
They don't like actual wrestlers.
No.
That's proven.
No, they definitely. There's room for improvement for a lot of things, and Julia finally becoming heel. Too bad they fucking anchored her with Roxanne Perez. I just like.
I think Roxanne Perez is in the Money in the Bank match. She's the one that's just there to take the stupid bumps.
Who else is in this?
So far, it's Julia, Roxanne, and I think Rhea. I think.
Oh, I'm not surprised about Rhea. I don't want to watch it anyways.
No.
They're like it's gonna be Rhea again. It's always Rhea,
most likely.
So
yeah, there's that talk. Rhea Hogan. That keeps coming up.
Rhea Cena.
Yeah. Same difference.
Surprise, Cena wins.
Cena did win against R-Truth after hitting him with the title belt. And bullshit like that. And
R-Truth was not going to win that match anyways.
Yeah, as much as we would have liked it. No, I know.
Okay.
I get it. I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Cody's back, yay!
Yeah. Because main event at Money in the Bank will be John Cena and Logan Paul taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Yeah. Hey, that's slightly better than the initial rumor that it was going to be a 6-man match with John Cena, Logan Paul, and Travis Scott.
Yeah, that's true. But like you said last night, we still got time.
Yeah, they have a few weeks, and Travis Scott will most likely be there. He'll probably interfere in the match or something.
Yeah.
But he ain't getting a receipt from Cody, even though he deserves it.
Fuck no, he's going to stay as far away from Cody Rhodes as humanly possible.
Yep.
Now, my favorite WWE thing that happened this week, Logan Paul was in the ring with fucking Gunther.
Yeah.
And Gunther's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm just like, yeah.
I want to believe it. I do. I really do.
Yeah.
I want to believe it.
Like, when it was like, Gunther goes, we're painfully aware of how I think people outside of wrestling, when they get into the wrestling ring, how I treat them.
Yep.
How do you think I'm going to treat a YouTuber? I'm just like, kill him.
It kind of gave me a Drago, I must break you kind of vibe.
Yeah, but I don't want Logan Paul to be Rocky.
No, this is the alternative ending where Rocky just gets pummeled.
Yeah. So this almost turns Gunther babyface.
In my mind, yes, 100%.
Yeah, because we don't want a babyface Logan Paul.
Oh.
Nobody likes him.
He can't be a babyface. He can't.
I don't think he can.
He cannot.
No, he's got such negative news about him.
At the beginning of the week on Twitter, there was multiple posts saying, and Logan Paul was saying, the hate on me is forced. This isn't real. It's forced.
Manufactured hate for Logan Paul?
That's what he's trying to say, right? So on Twitter, every day, multiple times, any reference to Logan Paul in wrestling, I just have one response. Fuck Logan Paul, period.
Yeah.
Okay? I get multiple people liking every time I do it.
Okay.
There's like at least 3 people that like every time I put that comment. Then that post came up, and it came up multiple places. I responded the same thing twice. I put, fuck Logan Paul. Mm-hmm. And it is not forced. I have disliked the man since my first introduction to him, which was the Japanese Forest, and he's been nothing but a garbage person ever since. He's not a wrestler. He learns choreography. Fuck Logan Paul. And I posted that comment every time I saw that is the Logan Paul hate force.
You gotta set up a macro.
I did. I copy paste. Like,
typing this stuff out is just too much.
I'm sure some people think that my fuck Logan Paul must be a bot because that's the only thing I put. But that's the only thing I can say. Fuck him. All right. I'm glad that he did not win the title last night because I would have cut ties completely. I would have been done. Like I said,
you would have been all AEW from here on.
No, I probably would have just been done with anything wrestling.
Really?
Kinda.
Really?
Kinda.
Really?
Because AEW there's not enough in AEW that's to hold my attention right now.
What about Will Ospreay popping off about how like he's adamant AEW is always going to be better than WWE?
Sure, okay, whatever you say, Will. Sure.
And
now he's trying to egg AJ Styles to quit WWE.
I saw that. I was like, I don't think he's going to quit.
No.
How
much money is he making?
Yeah, he ain't going to quit.
So I saw a post. I don't know if it's true. They were asking, like, okay, Finn Balor has been, like, on the worst streak for a while. Like, he's only won 2 matches and so many, whatever. And then they showed that he was making, like, $7 million. And no wonder he's fine doing what he's doing. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to feel bad about wins and losses when you look at those 7 figures in your bank account.
Exactly.
Like, this hurts so much. Check.
Yep.
I don't feel so bad now.
I mean, he's had the career. Like, he's had a career.
He doesn't have to prove himself at all.
No.
Putting a title on Finn Balor, it's kind of a moot point at this point in time.
Yeah.
So let him do fucking Uncle Phil or Uncle Finn with the fucking Judgment Day and looking disapprovingly at fucking Roxanne Perez as she's trying to fucking bribe Dominic with
that
chicken nuggies.
That really kind of like,
what?
Fuck off. He dumps Rhea for Liv, and now he's going to dump Liv for Roxanne. Talk about a downgrade.
Yeah. I did like the disapproving look from Raquel Rodriguez when all this was going down.
Did she say to Carlito she was going to tell Liv?
Yeah.
Like that was the thing? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought I saw that, like that, just like somebody quoted it or whatever. I didn't know if it was real.
Fuck. While the fucking cat's away, the mice will play.
Something's going to happen. Raquel's going to be taken out, and it's going to be Roxanne sent over. Snitches need stitches.
Yeah. mind your P's and Q's. This dirty Dom Dirty Dom's me. With just of all the people, fucking Dominic deserves everything that he's got coming.
I will admit, he leaned into it. He's done what he needed to do. As much as I don't entirely, I'm not into it. I get it, and props for him for pulling it off. You know, and he does appear to be getting better in the ring too. So what little bit I've seen.
Okay. Who's he hang with?
That's true. Yes. You would hope he would learn.
You would hope he would learn.
You would hope he would learn.
JD McDonough and fucking Finn Balor, just like, come here, my son.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we'll learn you.
We'll learn you. There's
the big surprise last night was Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker taking on CM Punk, and I can't remember who was with him. And Bronson Reed made his surprise return.
Well, we also kind of breezed over the other major introduction to the new character.
Who's that?
JC Mateo.
JC Mateo, that's right. Yep.
So Jeff Cobb, the worst kept secret in the wrestling business, jumps over to SmackDown, is now the newest member of the Bloodline.
The Bloodline 2.0, the Solo Sikoa version. Yeah, the Timo Bloodline.
Boy, yeah, Timo Bloodline. Where he was instantly disliked by Jacob Fatu. And Solo's like, chill, bro. He's an Islander. He's fine.
Sure.
And it kind of shocked me to see that Jeff Cobb is not as big as I thought he was.
I'm wondering if is it because he's in the bigger ring and whatnot, or has he just trimmed down?
No, he was shorter than Jacob Fatu.
Okay.
And he was shorter than Solo.
So it's who he's been working with, where he's been working.
Right. So who does Jeff Cobb work with? Japanese dude, lucha guys, not known to be
outside of Kazuchika Okada. They're usually shorter,
right? So I was just like, well, look at him. He fucking standing in a hole in the middle of the back of the fucking arena. It's like, where'd you find that? Or Jacob Fatu is standing on a milk crate.
That's Hollywood magic, man.
That's what it's a forced perspective.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice to see him there finally now, because we've been waiting for that for a while.
He deserves it. Nope.
Sure.
I don't know.
You do realize he made his debut a week after the big releases, and one of the arguments for Dakota Kai being released was that her age, and she's 37. Yeah. So age is a factor, and Jeff Cobb is 42.
Yes. How many injuries has Jacob?
I get it. Dakota Kai is injury prone. Yes, I acknowledge that. Yes. But that was not brought up in the conversation.
I did.
You did, yes. But I'm saying online, and when they were asking, like, why did she get released? They made it clear that age was a factor.
Sure.
And then they hired somebody who's 5 years older.
Age for a girl.
Sexist, you pig. Fucking misogynist.
So?
Game over, man. It's game over.
This has been the Three Noes Podcast. Thank you for listening.
You're still here?
It's over. Go home.
Y'all come back now. Here.